Hey y'all, No here. Well, I just wanted to add a couple of footnotes to the video from yesterday. Number one is that even though I was allowing 8 hours to spend at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, what I really found was that 3 hours were really enough for me. I suppose you could spend a whole day there if you really took your time. But for me, 3 hours was enough. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is something that happened in this very room last night. I woke up with a really bad headache, and I get those occasionally, not very often, but normally when I get one, I take a couple of aspirin and that takes care of it. Well, last night I didn't have any aspirin at all. I thought I might have had some in the van, but as it turned out, I didn't bring any. But at any rate, I didn't feel like getting up, getting dressed, going out to the van, and I guess the Holy Spirit was telling me there's no aspirin out there anyway, so don't bother. So you know how it is. I tried all the things that I could think of to help myself. I tried drinking some water. I turned the thermostat on the air conditioning down really, really low. Went back to bed, but still just this pounding headache. No matter what position I tried to sleep in, I just couldn't get back to sleep. And so, like we humans usually do after we've tried everything else to try and solve our own problem, I just said, Lord, I know you don't have to take this headache away, but I know you can. And so I just gave it to him. And if I was going to wake up with a headache this morning, I accepted that. If I was going to wake up this morning without a headache, I was going to make sure that I praised him. And guess what? I woke up this morning without a headache. So I am publicly praising the Lord right now for what he did last night. It was an amazing thing. It felt so good to wake up this morning with that headache gone. So God is good all the time. And, you know, if we're wise, we just turn to him first instead of last. But I'm human just like you are. And I think that I can fix my own problems. And sometimes I can, but sometimes I can't. So I'm headed off to Pittsburgh in a few minutes. And I'm going to be going to the funicular first to see the view of the city of Pittsburgh. So I will send some video or record some video when I get there, give you an idea of what it's like. So I'll see you on down the road in a little while. About 2 hours actually is all it takes to get from Canton to Pittsburgh. So this is either the Allegheny or the Monongahela. I can't remember which one is on the east and which one is on the west. But this is what they call Mount Washington. Not really what I would call a mountain, but it's a view that you won't get in many cities probably. And so if you look right over there, you'll see Acrisure Stadium, which is where the Pittsburgh Steelers play. I can't quite reach. You can almost see it through these chairs here. If you look down there, you'll see the fountain, and that's where the confluence happens. The two rivers actually one together to form the Ohio. Since it was only 2 o'clock and check-in at the motel wasn't until 4 o'clock, I decided to walk down the river to the Duquesne Incline Railway to see if it had a better view than the Monongahela Incline Railway. I was kind of surprised at what I found. This is by far the best funicular. And there's where I'm staying tonight. For this ride, I had the whole car to myself. So if you're coming up the river, you're going to see this sign that says Station Square. There's the funicular up there, and there's a very big parking lot right there. Not sure how much it costs, but the other parking lot for the Monongahela was $8 for all day. But this one was much easier to access, much easier to get in and out of. And so you're going to make a turn onto West Station Square Drive into here, go around the curve, and then there's the pay station right up there. Okay, I spent most of the day on Mount Washington today. I actually did both of the incline railways because I had time to do it. And what I found was that the Duquesne Incline Railway is very much the best one. You get the best views, you can see the most. The Monongahela one, I think, is the oldest and most historic, but the views from that part of Mount Washington are not as good as the top of the Duquesne Incline Railway. Also, the Duquesne Incline Railway is much easier to park for. And it's also the first one you come to, so you don't have to go as far up into the riverfront area. I had a little bit of a disappointment a little while ago. I was planning on visiting the Steelers Hall of Honor tomorrow, but what I found was that you have to reserve a spot to go on that tour. And so, since I didn't know when I was going to be here soon enough, I wasn't able to reserve one. The very best, the only thing I could get was a stadium tour over at Heinz Stadium, now known as Acusure Stadium. I don't know if you can see it over my shoulder or not, but this is the view I have from my hotel room. So it's about an hour and a half tour, and so we'll see how that goes. But the motel I'm staying in is called the Landing Hotel. It's actually a part of a casino, but it's an amazing room, and before taxes, it's only around $150 per night, at least in July. It's probably more than that in the fall after football season starts, but Anyway, it's pretty amazing compared to some of the places I've been staying lately. So kind of want to, let me show you around the room a little bit. So to start with, this is how close I am to the stadium over there. I mean, if there was somebody standing on that top row of the bleachers, you could be able to see them standing up there. But the rent, and kind of a beautiful view of the skyline. This is right on the confluence area. So, show you a little bit of the room here. Nice easy chair, king size bed, big screen TV, and this is what I think is the coolest thing about it. So why didn't it do it? Yeah, this night light turns on. I'm not quite sure what makes it turn on, but it turns on by itself. So anyway, I'll let you know how tomorrow goes. I'm a little disappointed, but you know, it is what it is. So, you know, it'll be good. I mean, I'm getting to go in. I guess I'll get to go inside that stadium over there that I watched on TV for so many years. So I'll give you some video of that tomorrow, and we'll see you then. I'm not sure how big of a city Pittsburgh is. I suppose it would be considered a pretty big city, but somehow it doesn't seem very big. I don't know if that's because it's spread out or there's so much greenery, at least in the part that I've been in. It just doesn't, I mean, it's got some skyscrapers, relatively speaking, but it just doesn't seem like a big city somehow. Maybe that's because it has 3 rivers flowing through it, and that kind of forces people to be separated from each other. But there's so many things to do and see. If you like museums, Pittsburgh is definitely the place. Museums of all kinds, from art to science to sports, all kinds of things. I took the tour of the Steelers Acrisure Stadium today. Got to see a lot of things. Unfortunately, they don't allow video inside the stadium, so a lot of what I show you is going to be still photographs. In fact, I think everything I show you is going to be still photographs, but I'll provide some voiceover to explain to you what you're looking at. So anyway, here's what I saw today. This is what they call Point Park. It's the place where the Allegheny and Monongahela rivers come together to form the Ohio River. You can actually walk across a bridge and onto that little triangle of land, which they call the Golden Triangle, and actually stand right at the place where the 2 rivers come together. But I didn't choose to do that because it was a really long walk and a very hot day. This is a picture of Mount Washington and the Duquesne Inclined Railway that goes up to the top. This picture really gives you an idea of just how high it is, but the really impressive thing is the really tall building that is up there on top of Mount Washington. Hope there are still some people around who remember who Mr. Rogers was. Better known, his actual name was Fred Rogers. He filmed the show for PBS, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, in Pittsburgh. He was from Pittsburgh, and just a wonderful, kind, gentle, great example of what a person should be. And the people of Pittsburgh have not forgotten about him, and they treasure him, as we all should, even though he's no longer with us. So this statue, although I don't think it's a very good statue, but it's Pittsburgh's attempt to pay homage to Mr. Rogers. This is a statue of Art Rooney, the original owner and founder of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Steelers are still owned by the Rooney family, which is such a well-respected family because of their charitable work, their connection to the community. And Pittsburgh loves the Rooney family. The Rooney family loves Pittsburgh. This is a marker that's placed at the entrance to where the old Three Rivers Stadium was. And they actually built a little miniature football field right next to this ticket gate, showing where the players used to play. If you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan or a football fan at all, you're bound to have heard of the Immaculate Reception. Well, when they tore the Three Rivers Stadium down, they actually preserved the spot where the Immaculate Reception took place, and there's actually a marker showing where Franco Harris caught the ball and ran it into the end zone for the winning touchdown of the Steelers' very first playoff win. These are the most expensive seats in the entire stadium. It looks really strange because there's no goalpost on the field, but this is the end of the stadium where the people are practically right down on the field. This is the actual tunnel that so many great Steelers players have run out of since this new stadium was built, and I got to walk through that very tunnel. The whole stadium tour was kind of surreal to me. It's, it's the place I've seen on TV so many times. And I actually stood in those places that I've watched on TV for so long. The thing that struck me about the stadium itself was how small it looks in person compared to how big it looks on TV. The whole field, I mean, the seats are just right next to the playing field, and it makes the playing field itself look smaller than 100 yards long. But I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed my time here in Pittsburgh. It's been really hot, so that's getting me ready to go back home, I guess. But so after today, tomorrow morning, I'll be headed towards Washington, D.C. to visit some very, very good friends that I haven't seen since I was in South America in January of 2020. So I'm looking forward to that. So with that said, I hope you enjoy my feeble attempt to show you a little bit of Pittsburgh. So until next time, vaya con Dios.